If there is a change in your family composition, you need to inform IRCC. Now, this is not optional. This is not something which you have a choice. You have to do it. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant, and this channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not with regards to your Canadian immigration application. Marriage. So many of you have been waiting for your applications to be processed. 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, 2.5 years. There are people who are there waiting for 3 years as well. Obviously, during this period of time, 1, 2, 3 years, there is a definite change in your family composition. You may have gotten married. You may have gotten, or rather, you may have now welcomed one child into your family. In some cases, even 2 children. Congratulations, first of all. This is great news. But if you read your AOR letter, acknowledgement of receipt letter, which was received by you in your application, it says very, very clearly what are the conditions that you need to inform IRCC as and when they happen. Change of address is very, very big. So if you're changing your residential address, you have changed countries, you have changed cities, you definitely need to inform IRCC. Okay, you don't need to wait for them to ask you. You need to do that yourself. If there is a change in your family composition, you need to inform IRCC. Now, this is not optional. This is not something which you have a choice. You have to do it. And I will explain it to you, reason why it is important. And I'll give me 1 more minute. And the third is that you have to inform them about change of your employment only if that employment was the reason basis on which you received your ITA. So this applies to people, for example, you received your nomination because you had a job offer. You received 50 points because you had a job offer based on which you received your ITA. If there is a change in that employment, then you need to inform IRCC. A regular federal skilled worker who has never been to Canada, did not have a job offer, if you have a change of employment, it doesn't matter. You are not obligated to inform those changes. You had a change of designation, you had a change of you got promoted, you got demoted, you left the company, you were not working anymore, you're not employed anymore. All these changes are not required to be updated to IRCC. Only if the employment change was the result because you received your ITA, then you need to inform IRCC. Okay, so just to be aware now, because a lot of people still are confused about these things. Now, most important, and the one I wanted to talk to you about was the family circumstances and the changes. There have been few cases of people who got married, received their passport request, thought they will inform IRCC but forgot, or thought it was not important, but they were in a rush to get to Canada because, hey, they've been waiting for such a long time. They came to Canada without informing IRCC that they are now married. What is the result of this? After they have become permanent residents, 6 months later or a few months later, they obviously are now separated from their family. They wanted to sponsor their spouses. So when they have sponsored their spouse, now comes the big problem. You cannot sponsor your spouse or your child if you have not already declared them before becoming a permanent resident. It's extremely important. There is no condition under which you will be able to sponsor your child. This is for the economic programs. The only public policy that is there is for protected persons and for refugees. So this does not apply to you. If you have applied through Express Entry, you've applied through PNPs, you've applied through any economic program. If you did not declare your spouse, your children at the time of you becoming a permanent resident, then you will not be able to sponsor them. Not only that, you have also committed misrepresentation. How have you committed misrepresentation? Part of your inadmissibility checks to Canada is to check if your family member is admissible or inadmissible. Okay, because if your family member is inadmissible to Canada, so are you. Okay, in such situation, they have to conduct inadmissibility checks on your spouse or your child. In child's case, it's more to do with the medical inadmissibility. In a spouse's case, it has to do with the violation of human rights, security, background checks, criminality, and of course, medical. And if you did not inform IRCC about your change of family circumstances, which basically meant that you did not get your spouse checked for inadmissibilities, therefore you were not checked for inadmissibilities, and hence it's a material misrepresentation, which can have some very severe consequences. So once again, I know you are in a rush. I know you are absolutely excited. You have this anxiety of wanting to get to Canada fast because now you have your passport request and you want to make sure that you come to Canada at the earliest. But please do not make this mistake. You must disclose, you must declare your spouse, you must declare the fact that you have now welcomed a child in your family. You have to inform IRCC. It's not optional. There is no way around it. In some cases, people have informed IRCC. We know what a mess at this point of time the whole IRCC and the web forms, etc. is. Web form has become like one big black hole. You keep raising web forms. People are raising web forms for everything. I have a headache, web form. IRCC, I have a headache. My cat has just littered. I have now 6 more kittens. Hey, IRCC, have 6 more kittens. I have now gotten vaccinated. Hey, IRCC, I've gotten vaccinated. People are raising web forms for trust me, I know it because, hey, I do so many consultations. So people tell me all kinds of things. And some of them are downright ridiculous. But it's the anxiety which is resulting in people doing this, right? They're just anxious. Everybody feels that if they will inform IRCC, maybe they will do something about it. With all these web forms being raised, with so many of them actually being irrelevant, it's a good possibility when you actually raise a web form which was supposed to be raised, which is required, which is critical, which is important, which is relevant, it gets missed out, it goes into a black hole, it does not get actioned, or somebody somewhere slips up and somebody doesn't take notice of that. Absolutely possible. But it's your application, it's your responsibility. You need to make sure you're on the right. So even if you are one of those guys who did inform IRCC that you have gotten married, but you have now received your passport request, you are now wondering, am I in the right? Am I in the wrong? Well, check in your application, view dependents. If you click on it and if you can see your spouse's name and your spouse's biometrics record in it, then you're fine. Second thing to check is your COPR. Does your COPR list your spouse's name? Accompanied or unaccompanied, it doesn't matter. Does it list it? If it does, you're on the safe. If it does not, if your spouse's name does not appear on the dependents list, if it does not appear on your COPR, you need to make sure that is updated before you travel. If you travel, spouse is not updated, you're in a big problem. So don't try to, rush to come to Canada and then say, okay, I will inform IRCC later on. Accompanying spouse, unaccompanying spouse, it does not matter. In both the cases, they will still complete their inadmissibility checks. So whether the spouse is accompanying or not accompanying, it doesn't make any difference to them. And in both the cases, your COPR will have to be reissued. The dependent status has to be updated. So whether you choose to have some people think that if your spouse is not going to be accompanying them, this process will be faster. It will not be fast. It will still take the same amount of time. You still need to get your spouse's medicals. You still need to get your spouse's police clearances. They will still need to be checked for all the background information. That information will still be there. All the forms will remain the same. The only thing which you will not need to do is pay their application fees and write for permanent residence fee. So apart from that, everything else remains the same. This is extremely important. Please keep note and don't make that mistake. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, please. And if you're not following us on Instagram, then please do. It's always nice to see more people joining in over there because that's where we tend to post all the updates as and when they happen. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, and I shall see you next time.